me off because
You are watching 32 teams in 32 days on the Game Time Sports Network.
Great day, sports world. What's up to all the sports lovers, the haters, the addicts, and the fanatics? This is Larry Patterson with GT365. It's Game Time 365 Sports right here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. We here back again, last team in the AFC North, and I got my guy Mon. You know, got that ugly hat on, but you know, hey, we gonna deal with how we gonna deal with it. Up there in the top right. Rights for the NKCC News, Robb Johnson Media. He's been on the NFL fields. He's been in the press rooms. He's been there, ladies and gentlemen. Also a part of the LegacyMaker Sports Network. He is a visionary, a revolutionary. Robb Johnson, what's up, baby?
Since we're talking about the Bengals today, I think I went a little TJ Hushmanzada for the fans today. So yeah, we gonna let's talk a little Cincinnati Bengals today. Let's talk a little underachievers. Cheap underachievers. Let's talk some cheap underachievers today.
Ooh, cheap underachievers, man. This team right here, man, 9-8 in the last two seasons. They finished third in 2023. No, they finished third last year, finished fourth in 2023. A lot of talk of how Zach Taylor starts out his seasons. Let me run down how he started his seasons since he's been in the league. In 2019, he started out 0-11. In 2020, 0-2-1. In 2021, it doesn't count because he opened the season with a win. And 2022 and 2023, he opened the season at 0-2. Last year, opened the season at 0-3. So clearly, he does not start out the season very well. This team, the offense ranked first last year. That defense ranked 21st in terms of yards overall. In terms of yards, 25th in the run game, ranked 19th. Defensively, ranked 30th. Last in the league in offensively in the run game. Like I said, started out 0-3, and then went 4-4 in the next 8 games before hitting the bye week, losing to Pittsburgh before finishing the season on a 5-game winning streak, failing to make the playoffs for a second straight year in a row. Joe Burrow had a year. Did he not? Did he not have a year? 49-18 on the yards, 43 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. If he hadn't made the playoffs, he probably would have been the MVP. So, you're in my guys' expert opinions. How did you feel about the Cincinnati Bengals season last year? I'm gonna start with you, Amon.
Man, my Robb said underachievers. I think that's he's being nice, being nice to them when he said they're underachievers, man. I feel like they were like poor, man. Like it just wasn't a good year. Joe Burrow coming off an injury with his wrist, and then you have Bengals ownership being Bengals ownership, lingering with Jamar Chase's contract, knowing that what he's capable of, and I believe he won the Triple Crown last year, if I'm not mistaken. Larry, help me out with that. Yeah. If he didn't, I just feel like the offense was the offense. Their defense was the main issue, with this team. I think Trey Hendrickson had 17 and a half on the
Last
season.
2 years, 17 and a half sacks the last 2 years.
17 and a half the last 2 years. And, he didn't have a running mate. No Sam Hubbard, their first round pick, Miles Murphy from a couple years ago. He hasn't hit yet. Yeah, man, I just think it was a lackluster year. And, for us to see the Bengals be in the Super Bowl, 2021? So that's 4 years removed, 4 or 5 years removed from where they were.
Haven't made the playoffs since 2022.
Right. That's kind of disappointing to me. But yeah, man, I feel like they definitely underachieved poorly. So that's my take on the 2024 Cincinnati Bengals.
Mr. Johnson?
Well, let's start out with the elephant in the room. Like Amon said, they were 9-8 last year, right? They lost to the Baltimore Ravens 2 games by combined with 3 points. Not only that, you start the season off, you lose to the New England Patriots. Let me repeat myself. You start the season out by losing to the New England Patriots. You only beat the Giants 17-7, which shows me you're an average football team. You survived Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys because they made an error on a special teams play. You get lucky because the Bengals don't have their leading rusher, Nick Chubb, and they had other issues as well. So you mean to tell me you got 2 freebies? You finally beat the Cleveland Browns, and you still end up 9-8. Yeah, you finished the season good. The Broncos didn't care about the end of the season. Hey, guess what? People want to blame the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, why didn't you play hard in the last game? Well, guess what, folks? Let me ask everybody this question. What would happen if Patrick Mahomes had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Gesicki? What would happen? Did Patrick Mahomes
probably would have won the Super Bowl?
Oh, by the way, I forgot. Didn't the Cincinnati Bengals have an opportunity to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season? What happened?
Smoked it.
They smoked it. Okay. Also, didn't they give up almost 400 plus yards of Russell Wilson in Cincinnati?
44-38.
Okay. Aren't you thinking about trading Trey Hendrickson right now? And he's had your most sacks the last year. The closest player who had anything close was 5 sacks. They had 36. Think about that. Last year, you have 36 total sacks. One guy damn near has 18 by himself. Your defense is putrid. Your defense is horrible. Joe Burrow is a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. There's a difference between being great and elite. He does not show up in the elite moments. You know who they are? They're the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills lost 4 Super Bowls in NFC East. The Cincinnati Bengals have lost 3 to the NFC West. So this is my solution. Play somebody outside the NFC West in the Super Bowl, and you just might win a damn championship.
Speaking of, you did say that Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown.
I'm sorry, Larry. I'm sorry. and Amon, there's one thing I forgot to say. Do you remember a couple years back in the snow when a guy by the name of Joe Mixon saved their asses? Saved their asses in the snow. But they didn't want to pay him. And what happened? Joe Mixon goes and plays for the Texans. And yeah, he puts up over 1,000, but guess only a little bit over 1,000. But guess what? Leadership. They lost the leadership. You don't pay him. And guess what? By the way, Larry, I want to say one more thing. Just one more thing before you get back to Marcus. I've got to say this because I looked this up earlier because I'm a stickler for salary cap, right? I'm a big stickler for salary cap. Do you know right now, currently, the Bengals are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7th in the NFL in cap space. You can't pay the man? Let's go to 2026.
7th in cap space and you can't pay him? Wow.
Let's see. It's 2026. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're in the top 10. But Mr. Mike Brown, who we don't know, he could be a billionaire. He could be a millionaire. Who knows? The numbers are a little skewed. You can't pay Trey Hendrickson? Are you serious? Come on now. And you pay Joe Burrow's guys. You pay his guys on offense, but you don't want to get the defense. You don't want to get Mr. Stewart signed because he's intelligent enough to know his damn contract and that you're trying to screw him over. So guess what, Cincinnati Bengals? Either get it together or in 4 or 5 years, when Joe Burrow becomes a free agent at the age of 29, he will demand $1 billion. He will not resign with you. Get it together or you will lose Joe Burrow and your franchise will be forever cursed.
By the way, I mean, you paid Joe Burrow on time, but you take
$275 million.
You take your sweet time in paying Jamar Chase when you should have been done that.
And T. Higgins' contract is way overrated. T. Higgins has missed what 3, 4, 5, 6 games the last couple of years. I mean,
Amon, you had your thoughts on that contract as well.
Tell him,
yeah,
Amon.
Yeah, man, that contract is sad, man. So pretty much, I know when the numbers came out, me and Larry broke it down, and we was like, something's not right. So they can literally get out after this year if they want to move on from T. Higgins with no harm, no foul. So it's like what Mike Brown, what are we doing? Like, are you listening to Joe Burrow, or are you just appeasing Joe Burrow right now? And there's a longer play. I just don't understand. I don't know why, T. Higgins, signed the deal, but us being, fans of the league, hey man, that's a whole lot of money. 1 year, I think it's like 1 year, 10 million, 1 year, 12, something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's a low number. Like Rob said, it's a very, very overrated contract right now. So it was laughable when you seen the numbers broke down and the guaranteed money. I mean, I know me and Larry, we was looking at, okay, he might get in Waddle type money, which is like 25 to 28 or whatever the case may be over a couple years, to be in Cincinnati, maybe 3, 4 years, man. But to see that you can get out after 1 year, T. Higgins, what are we doing, bro? So, it's like you said, Larry, Joe Burrow got paid $275. Chase got paid. And I think, yes, I'm all for Chase getting paid, but I think the Bengals, they overplayed their hand, like I think another team in the NFC East is about to do with another megastar, is they let them got too deep in the water and Jamar Chase get the Triple Crown. Then you had to add on an extra, 15, 10, $20 million a year. So I think they overplayed their hand. Yeah, man, I definitely had my thoughts about that.
If you're talking about Michael Parsons, you're completely right. And you know what's even crazier, guys? All right, so 2025. Here's the cap number. Or this is I believe this is the cap number. He's on counting against the cap. 45 million, 47 million, 51 million, 53 million, and in 2029, over $57 million. And
that's
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, okay.
Yeah. So my thing is this, guys. We've never seen Joe Burrow without Jamar Chase. When he was at Ohio State, he struggled. He comes to LSU, Louisiana State University, for those who don't know. He gets Jamar Chase, and guess what? He excels. What would he do without Jamar Chase? What would Jamar Chase do without him? We don't know. All we know is that this team is 10-16 all time in the playoffs. This team is soft. Listen, we can talk about Vontaze Burfict and his late hits all we want to, blah, blah. At least one thing you know. Back in the 2000s, mid-2010s, you come to Cincinnati playing games you want to. They're going to knock your head off. Now, this team, they're a little bit tough, but ain't nowhere near what those guys were. And think about it, they had Chad Johnson, they had TJ Houshmandzadeh, they had all these weapons. This team, look, if you look at any NFL team and you look at the last 2 decades of wide receivers, I mean, come on now. I mean, look at a guy like a Don McNabb back in the day. What would he do with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? He got T.O. for 1 year, went to Super Bowl. He's had these guys for years. And they cannot get over the hump. There's something in Cincinnati that they just cannot get over the hump. Now, they are 3-1 in conference championship games. So once it gets to the conference championship, they're good. They're all Gucci. But they got to get there first. And I just look, man, you look at the schedule last year, it was decent. It wasn't too bad. This year, their last stretch of games, it's gonna be tough. And that Broncos game on Monday Night Football, it might get blown out.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that schedule later on down the line. Now, the run offense, I'm gonna just throw this in there, has not been in the top 10 since 2014 when Jeremy Hill, remember that name, and Giovanni Bernard. Giovanni Bernard has been in the league, and they were like 6th then. Other than that, like they had some numbers at like 13, but other than that, they've been like bottom of the league and running the ball. So Chase Brown came through. I think probably like week 5 or something like that. He came through and he racked up on the season 990 yards, 10 yards away from 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he was pretty good. Zach Moss, he had a neck injury, so he played 8 games, started 6. What's going on, Rob?
I get it. He's good, but we're talking about the impact. Think about Joe Mixon in some of those games last year. If Joe Mixon is playing against the Patriots, they win that football game. If you have Joe Mixon against the Ravens, one of those two, they win. And guess what? You have 11 wins. You're in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs.
That's another front office problem.
Sometimes certain players, yeah, they can put up numbers, but what's their impact? It's like Curtis Martin back in the day. Curtis Martin was a great running back, but at times his impact was. Then you got other guys like in history. You look at like a Barry Sanders, even though they never won a Super Bowl, his number it was bigger than the numbers. It was his impact, and that's what a guy like Joe Mixon was. His impact on that team, on just on the big moments. 990 yards is cool, but if he don't put up over 1,000 this year, they might be looking for another running back. And their offensive line gave up 56 sacks last year. Only second. The Bears were the only team to give up more with 58. So that offensive line needs to get together, and Joe Burrow needs to play better in clutch moments as well. That's the Bengals' problem is clutch moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Mike Gesicki was a big contribution to the team with 54 receptions. No, he's 65 receptions for 665 yards. He's back for another year. So let's go. We already touched on the sacks with Trey Hendrickson having 17 and a half. Joseph Asai, who's going into a contract year, second on the team with 5 sacks. That's crazy. The next.
But you know what, Larry? But you know what, Larry? You know what's funny about him? He's out of Texas. He's a young. I think he's like 24, 25 years old. You watch what I tell you. You watch. He'll probably have 7, 8 sacks this year. He'll probably go somewhere, get like a decent deal. He'll end up having 15, 16 sacks, get paid somewhere else. That's the Bengals' luck.
Yeah, because clearly they're not going to pay anybody.
No.
They just like Baltimore, they're not paying pass rushers. So and I don't see them paying Trey Hendrickson anytime soon right now either. I mean, why don't you just trade the guy? Build for your future. What are we doing? Amon, we talked about this. During the draft process when he was he's holding out. I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think I don't know, Larry. I don't know if we're going on a tangent, going off subject, or we rambling there, man. I don't know if the Trey Hendrickson piece is coming up or not, but I agree with you, Larry. I mean, if we're not going to pay him, go ahead and trade him. I'm pretty sure there's a couple teams, one in the NFC East, that can use him for sure. They got a guy that's that Mahomes type money on the way if he keep playing like he playing out there in with Joe Harris and Adam Peters out there with the Commanders. So I mean, I feel like if they're not going to pay him, get what you can, and then go and reinvest that capital in another pass rusher. But it just doesn't make any sense what they're doing with Trey Hendrickson at this very moment. They might end up paying him, but who knows? We'll see. Camp opens up for everybody here in a couple of weeks. So,
well, I'll say this, and if you're talking about the Commanders, you're correct. I put a post up weeks ago that said, "Listen, they got to win now before they got to pay Jay Daniels all that money." So, I mean, for me, that makes the most sense. In a lot of ways, he needs to go to the NFC East. But if you're the Bengals, you got to get max compensation. I'm telling you right now, if they trade him, they don't get no less better than a first-round pick or a couple second-round picks, man. If I'm Bengals fans, I would protest. Because and I understand he's 30 years old. I know that, that his career started off a little slow when he was in New Orleans. But 2020 is when he really started getting things going. He has 77 career sacks and he's been in the league, I think, since 2017, but he really started getting going in 2020. But I mean, he's a great player, man. And without him last year, they lose even more games. So what are you going to do if you're the Bengals? Like, what are you really going to do now? You gotta start making some decisions. And again, you haven't been to the playoffs since 2022. 9-8 is not going to get it. Is not going to cut it again. Zach Taylor is on his last leg. They need to get a hard ass in there. They need to get somebody that is really going to take control, because this, in my opinion, has gone too far. If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you got too many great players. Too many great players.
Yeah,
Jermaine Pratt.
Oh, go ahead, Larry. Go ahead. No, you good.
Jermaine Pratt, who was released from the team, the Raiders picked him up. I think a week after that or so. But 143 tackles. You led the team in tackles, and you just let him walk. And I mean, you look at the linebacker room there.
I mean, think about that. Think about that. Think about that. 143 combined tackles. I was looking at that earlier. I said, Jesus Christ, 143 tackles combined, along with his assisted tackles. I think he had 80 total tackles and 63 assisted. You let that walk
fifth on the team in tackles for loss.
Yes, and that's the thing. You let that walk out the door because you want to appease Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's a great player, man, but you got to play some semblance of defense. Look, we all know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a complete mess this year. But we all know that when they probably play the Bengals, DK Metcalf going to go for about 150 to 200. He probably won't do it the rest of the season, but he'll probably go for 150 to 200 against them. Because come on, think about it, man. You can't beat Lamar. Lamar owns you, and that's the difference between being elite and being really good. Because you can't beat Lamar. Lamar's got 2 MVPs. Where's Joe Burrow's MVPs? Obviously, somebody's seeing something.
Well, Dax Hill, he's coming off of a torn ACL, and DJ Turner, he started performing, but then he got injured as well. So a lot of injuries with this secondary. Geno Stone led the team with 4 interceptions last year. It came over from Baltimore. So Cam Taylor-Britt seems to be something as well. So, but I don't think that's going to get it done, though. Especially when you see, like you said, DK Metcalf, and then you see in the Ravens, and then
he can be
Jerry
beat
as well.
Cam Taylor-Britt can be beat. Trust me, he can be beat.
I've seen Travis Kelce beat him at his old age of 35.
36.
Yeah, I've seen Travis Kelce run past him. But yeah, Larry, like you said, those names that you just named off, Dax Hill. I'm a Michigan guy, so Dax Hill, Geno Stone, Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, man. Like, there's nothing in that run, especially the corner room, that's going to scare me on Cincinnati. DK, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, Rashard Bateman. I'm just naming off the. It's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy out there.
And Zay Flowers about to have a career year this year, coming off that injury. He's mad. He's pissed off. He knows that if he had been in that game against Buffalo, they go into the AFC Championship game.
Absolutely.
So Zay Flowers about to have a monster year, and I mean, between, like I said, the Steelers, all those guys. I mean, they're not the greatest or youngest team, but they're coming. The Darren, what do you call it? The Baltimore Ravens, and now you got Shedeur Sanders in your division, who wants to get revenge on everybody, regardless if you didn't draft him or not. So I think about that. I mean, I don't know, man.
If he wins the job,
He listen. I understand y'all haven't done the Browns yet. He gonna win the job, bro. He gonna win the job. Trust me. The Bengals have been getting tortured by the Browns for all these years. They're gonna continue to get tortured by the Browns in the next decade. Trust me. It ain't gonna get easier.
Yeah, we did the Browns 2 days ago, Larry. Yeah, we did the Browns like 2 days ago, and I had said that Shedeur is going to. I said Shedeur is going to end up winning the job. It's going to, I know we're going off the topic here, but I think Shedeur is going to win the job. It's going to be a close battle, but I think politics and stuff going to let you do it, get on the field because the fans gonna want to see him and pressure from up top.
But you just said a key word, which is politics, Larry. The politics in Cincinnati. Yeah, you're getting the offense going, but like you just said, you get rid of your top linebacker who had all those tackles. You're not building the defense correctly. Mike Brown is playing the kiss Joe Burrow's butt game. I mean, I don't understand it, man. I just don't get it. It's not a winning formula. Didn't they learn this from the Chad Johnson years?
Hey, look, I know the defense was pretty bad, but was it a mistake to fire Lou Anarumo that quickly?
That's a tough one, man. I'll let Amon go in a second, but man, that's a tough one because all that is damage control. All that's telling me is Zach Taylor, you're next.
Oh man, ooh, I liked Lou a couple years ago. When the Bengals, I think it was 2021 when it's the Super Bowl, and their defense was rolling, but Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and that offense with Joe Mixon, that was a driving force of that team. So all Lou had to do was just keep the car on the road. Don't blow the game. And Joe Burrow, he was hot, and they'll take you there. So was it a mistake letting Lou go? I don't know. Like Rob says, damage control. Somebody had to take the fall for the mess that was created last season. And what you gonna do? What side of the ball was giving you most of your issues? It wasn't the offense. Offense can score. Because I think, Rob, if I'm not mistaken, help me if I'm wrong, they lost 4 games where they scored like 33 points or more, maybe 4 or 5 games where they scored 33 points or more and they still lost.
Yes, but again, you still can't. Nobody can excuse them losing to the Patriots 16-10.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? And they had games, but see, that's the other part, and that's the other part, Larry. Me and you had this conversation before too. Yeah, they scored those 30 points, but they started out slow. Look at the Commanders game. Look how slow they started out. They started out slow.
But yeah, like you said, Rob, somebody got to be the scapegoat. And, hey, man, long as Zach Taylor and, as long as you got Joe Burrow, he going to have his hand in the pot a little bit of what happened. So if anybody had to go, it was Lou Anarumo to answer the question.
Yeah, he had to go. He had to go. And Zach Taylor knows that he's next. Because if, quite frankly, like I said before with Joe Burrow, they got 4 to 5 years left with this guy before he becomes a free agent at the age of 29. And he's not coming back to Cincinnati. He's going to go somewhere else. I can guarantee you that.
Let's go to off-season moves and draft picks.
Here we go.
So,
interesting.
The key additions for this team, not much, but they did pick up TJ Slayton, nose tackle from Green Bay. They did pick up Lucas Patrick, a guard, Samaje Perine, who's good in the passing game. You bring him back. Key losses: Sam Hubbard, retired. Von Bell, safety. Guard Alex Kappa. I mean, you didn't really miss too much. Khalil Herbert, Akeem Davis-Gaither, who let's face it, look at your linebacker room. That's that's a body who you can use right now. Go ahead, Rob.
So basically, they had a Cowboys 2024 offseason, but the media didn't scrutinize them because they love Joe Burrow so much.
Yeah, he seemed like he can do a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. just wanted to make sure.
But as far as the draft picks, and I got the graphic right there on the screen. Shamar Stewart. I mean,
he ain't coming.
That's crazy right there. Second round pick Demetrius Knight from South Carolina, who I think could bring something to this team. Offensive guard Dylan Fairchild from Georgia in the third round. Barrett Carter, another linebacker. I mean, great that you drafted another linebacker because you letting yours go. From Clemson in the fourth round, offensive guard Jalen Rivers from Miami, and then Taj Brooks, who I think could make a big contribution to this team as well, from Texas Tech, rushing for over 1,500 yards in his last 2 seasons at Texas Tech. What you guys think about it? Well, I know how you feel about this draft class because we talked about it. But Rob, how do you feel about this draft class and where they went?
When I look at a guy like Barrett Carter, I think that he can be decent. Now, the 5th and 6th round picks could turn into something, especially the offensive tackle out of Miami. I've watched him up close. One thing he can do for the Bengals, if he ever gets an opportunity, he can run block his butt off. So I definitely think that could be something the Bengals could have gotten a steal in the 5th round. The whole Stewart situation, they just need to sit him down and say, look, we'll pay you. Because they got to get something done. Because Trey Hendrickson, I mean, if they keep him, especially if he walks out the door, they got to get somebody in there to rush the quarterback. But I really think that last half of that draft class could be looked at as a steal in the next decade if they do it right.
Yeah, but it's a whole lot of ifs with the Bengals right now. And Larry, excuse me, Larry, I want to. You know how I feel about the Bengals draft. We talked about it in nauseum the past couple months, whatever. But I'm going to really, chime on the Shamar Stewart situation right now. Yes, he was on the radar for the league beginning of I think the middle of the season last year. Coming from Texas A&M, and what Texas A&M had in the past with their pass rusher. So, Shamar was an interesting prospect for me. Because he had little to zero production in college. I think he may have had a sack and a half. In all 4 years of school. But, and I know throughout the process, the draft process, the Senior Bowls and the All-Star Games combine, he had measurements, and it was like, whoa, 6'5" with, this 10-inch split or whatever. But, Rob, I want to hear your opinion on this as well. Knowing that Shamar had had sack and a half in college, so the production wasn't really there in school. I think the Shamar Stewart pick can turn around and backfire on them in the long run if it doesn't come together. Because you go and pick Shamar Stewart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You pick Shamar Stewart. In my mind, the way I think, I'm going to make that pick knowing, hey, I'm going to have a little Anarumo there. I'm going to have somebody that's in the building that's experienced. I'm not going to have a new defensive coordinator coming in. I just feel like that pick a little risky. I will be much comfortable making Shamar Stewart pick if I had Lou Anarumo in the building or somebody that's been in the building for a while that runs the defensive side of the ball. Maybe their D-line, coach had a big input on it and saying, hey, we need this guy. But I feel like you change the coordinators and then you're going to go get this boom or bust pick. That was a little risky to me, but I understand it. Maybe they knew something we didn't know ahead of time with Trey Hendrickson that it might get to this point. But I think that Shamar Stewart pick, if it turns out right, you may have something. But I don't want to see or potentially see another Miles Murphy situation again like they had in 2023 or 2022 when they drafted him at the back end of the first round.
Well, Larry knows how I feel about this. Larry knows who I was screaming about. And even though his production went down a little bit, I want you guys to think about this, okay? He had 1.5 sacks, 1.5 sacks, and 1.5 sacks. Now, that could be because sometimes the system in college, we don't know. But this is a Nick Minaj type butt. It's a big butt.
Big one. It's a big
You know
one.
what I'm saying? That's that equates out to 4.5 sacks. Another player in the SEC had over his career in 3 years had what? 19.5. So you mean to tell me James Pierce Jr. was sitting right there and you didn't draft him? James Pierce Jr. went to the Atlanta Falcons. You had him at 17. Do you understand what you could have had with him and Trey Hendrickson? Now watch him go to Atlanta and watch him tear it up. Out of the University of Tennessee. That answers your question. Shamar Stewart is more of a run stopper, which I get. The TFLs, the tackle for loss, for you out there who don't know football, which I'm sure you do because you're watching us right now, right here on the Game Sports Network, 365 Larry Patterson. He's the man. GameTime365sports.com.
I wish I had that ad that you be having, but that would go good right about now.
but seriously, but I'm serious what I say about Larry too. Check Larry out. You had a chance to get James Pierce Jr. You did not get him. You let him slip 9 more spots for a guy who really doesn't want to play for you, doesn't want to be in Cincinnati. That's just the bottom line. So 19.5 sacks compared to 4.5 sacks. Is my math missing here, guys? Am I missing some brain cells? I mean, what's going on?
No, man, you're not missing any brain cells, man. Hey, man.
I mean, it's just sometimes common sense. I think sometimes these GMs do way too much and they don't use common sense. It's like when Tom Brady was in the NFL draft, and you could tell he got better as his career went on at Michigan when he beat Alabama, when they beat Bama, I believe, in his last game as a player at Michigan. You can see he got better, but you still picked him 199, and you saw his pizzazz, what he had, his leadership. And you look at a guy like James Pierce Jr., because some people said some things he dropped. When a couple of years ago, the dude that went to Philly was possibly involved in a vehicular homicide.
He still he went top what? He went
Jalen Carter.
Top 10. So.
Top 10. Yeah. I mean, and they're talking about he had character. Are you serious? Like, come on now. I mean, where would Tennessee have been without him on that defense? 10 sacks last year in the SEC, 7.5 this year. Come on, man. Like, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, man. I definitely I definitely see your point, Rob. You know, I mean, they could have went James Pierce. I don't remember who I had. I think I had them picking a corner in our mock draft. I'm not mistaken. Either way it goes, something on the defense had to give. You know what I mean? So Shamar Stewart, you know, James Pierce, but you know, they end up picking Shamar Stewart, of course. So I mean, like, you know, it's a boom or bust, you know, situation with him. And for him not to have a contract, and for him to say, and I'm just paraphrasing here, it seems like the Bengals worried about winning arguments instead of winning games on the field or something along that line. That's a lot. That's a little damning from your rookie right there. But
and then guys, hey Larry, you know what's worse? Starks goes 27th to the Ravens. You could have had him too.
Yeah.
Starks from Georgia goes to the Ravens. He goes to your rival. You could have had him, but no, he goes. And then Derek Harmon, who's going to be an underrated player coming out of college, he goes to Pittsburgh. At 21. And when you give up your linebacker, guess what? You had linebackers on the board. You had Jahad Campbell, who's going to the Eagles of all teams.
And the rich get richer.
The rich get richer. That's what I'm saying, man. Like the Bengals, like you said, Amon, man, the Bengals are more worried about winning arguments than they are winning championships and winning football games. They you know what they are? They're that team that plays what would you call it? Rec ball, and they want to look good in their uniform. They want to have the sleeves and the visors, and they want to have the crazy entrances. And at the end of the season, they're 3-7.
You know, warm-up beasts.
Yeah, they're warm-up pieces. That's what they are. Hey, look, here's our thing, Larry. They're obsessed with Kansas City. Get over it, guys. That was years ago. You can't keep using that card. Like, the Bengals are the Bengals, man. That's all I can say. The Bengals are the Bengals.
Any chance that, you know, you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins in the wide receiver room leading, of course. Any chance that Jermaine Burton can make that step, or Andre Yoshivas, who's, you know, flashed, especially in the red zone, you know, catching 10 of his touchdowns was within 10 yards, within the opponent's 10-yard line. Any chance that these two receiver or any other receiver in this room can make a big contribution to this team other than, you know, the usual?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Yoshivas because I've seen him do it. Yeah, it may be in limited snaps and limited, you know, possession, but I've seen him definitely do it. I know they drafted Jermaine Burton a couple years ago, you know, transfer from Georgia to Alabama his last year. He had some off the field stuff going on with him, and, you know, we'll leave that off the field. But I feel like if he was going to be one of those key contributors, it would have happened by now. And the coaches are not putting him on the field. And there's a reason they're not putting him on the field. So I'm going to say Yoshivas because I've seen him come in and make some crucial catches for the Bengals last year. Yeah. What about you, Rob?
I mean, why not just trade for another wide receiver? Have all the wide receivers.
At this point,
have all the wide receivers. I mean, if you're Burton, I mean, if he has a big year, let's say he even has a decent year, they're gonna get rid of T. Higgins just like that, and then they'll put him through the fire and they won't pay him, and this cycle will continue. But it has to be Burton. Burton is a really good football player. It has to be Burton. When he got drafted, I said, "This is crazy." I'm like, "You're gonna have a 3-headed monster at wide receiver." Now you probably got a 4-headed monster. They're gonna have to do something because they're just too good. It's too much talent in that room.
Joe Burrow was sacked 48 times?
50. I think 56 because they were 2 behind the Bears with 58 to give sacks allowed.
I don't know exactly where those sacks came from, but Orlando Brown Jr. at the left tackle, Marius Mims at the right tackle spot. Marius Mims was a rookie last year, I believe. And these guys have to get better, especially Marius Mims coming in, so young in his career. Burrow has to depend on him, a lot more. What do you think about this offensive line here? With Mims he played 15 games and he had 836 snaps. Cody Ford 689 snaps. So some injuries was in there somewhere. Ted Karras played the most with over 1,100 snaps. Cordell Voss 985 and Orlando Brown 637 played 11 games. Joe Burrow's he better hope that this offensive line is intact. Other than that, he'll be on his back a little bit more, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. He has Orlando Brown. This is his third team?
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, Kansas City, and then he's with Cincinnati. Right.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
So he has to settle down and find him a home. And I don't know if they gave him a contract or not, Larry. You can help me out with that one. But I think he's a mainstay at left tackle. He's serviceable. I know my boy, he's a big Ravens fan. He, when they had him, he could not stand him. He'll always say, boy, he ain't his daddy. Because, his daddy was a dog when he was in the league. But, Orlando Brown Jr. coming out of Oklahoma. I mean, he's a serviceable left tackle. And Amarius Mims come out of Georgia, 6'7", 320 plus, 330 plus. I mean, he's a project. He was a rookie last year, but I think he played well. He had some good moments last year. But the interior of that line, you said Alex Kappa, he moved on to Vegas. Signed a 2-year deal. You said Cordell Volston, serviceable offensive lineman. And who was the other guard? You said Ted Karras?
Cody Ford. Ted Karras is the center.
Ted Karras is the center. Cody Ford, the other guard. Yeah, Cody Ford has been around the league for a while. He was in Cincinnati. I know he had a little stint with Buffalo, so he's not a journeyman, but this is his second team, man. Yeah, man, I feel like the 2 tackles are definitely good pieces to have. That interior, man, can we upgrade there? And like Rob said, it had a late round pick that can develop out of Miami that could potentially, come in, fill some spot, have some depth on that offensive line unit.
Well, he signed a 4-year, $64 plus $1 million deal. His average salary is just over $16 million. Signing bonus $31 million, and his cap hit is $15 million this year.
That's Orlando Brown, right?
Yep, that's Orlando Brown this year. Yep. He's 29. He's 29 years old. He'll be 30 He'll be 30, I think, next May. So he still has a year till he turns 30. He was a 3rd round pick out of Oklahoma in 2018. This line has to get better in the sense of, like I said, the running game. They've got to get tougher. They have to get better in their movements. Joe Burrow has to do a better job getting the ball out of his hands quicker. These wide receivers have the speed. I think sometimes, I'm not going to call the Bengals stat patterns, but I think sometimes he likes to just get the ball downfield to Jamar Chase and, hey, let's see how many yards Jamar can get today. He had great stats last year. But this offensive line, I think overall they need to draft. They need to draft better. And I think instead of Shamar Stewart, like going back to that, they should have gone offensive line maybe. And next year, try to establish and get a better offensive line and get an offensive line that can actually get in there and it can protect Joe Burrow, because if Joe Burrow sustains any more injuries, like I said, it's gonna be bad. I mean, he's gonna want out. You can only get injured so many times before your body just completely breaks down, and that's my fear for Joe Burrow. Because see, you gotta think about some guys. Joe Burrow already's got enough money. If he keeps getting hurt like this, and if he takes that one catastrophic hit, he might just Andrew Luck them, and that's what they don't want. And that would be that would be the Bengals' luck.
He already had a season cut short, in his rookie year.
He tore his ACL versus at that point the Redskins at that time. Towards ACL, then he had the wrist, then he had the shoulder, and then he had a couple concussions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's piling up, man. It's like Rob says, it's like, okay, I done got paid. I done got my money. My money's good. I know if another big deal is coming. Another 5-year, $200-400 million deal is coming, because Rob said he'll be 29 at the end of this contract. The way they're playing to their 40s. Do I really want to stay in Cincinnati and keep getting treated or keep getting this beaten if they're not going to build around me? Questions like that is probably already trickling in his head now. Going into 2025 season. Yeah, man. I think Rob hit it right on the head, man. You got to protect Joe Burrow. If not, everything that they worked for, because they had Boomer Esiason, Carson Palmer went through injuries when he was with them. I think he ended up tearing his ACL when he was with the Bengals back in the day. And it's like history repeating itself all over with them. They move on to better situations, better teams, and they definitely are flourish.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this too, man. And this is just a prediction. Remember when Carson Palmer played for the daggone Cincinnati Bengals? He ended up going to Arizona. I could see Joe Burrow in 5 years going to the Arizona Cardinals, because that team is going to have you got your young receiver, you got your young tight end. And me and Larry have a conversation about the Arizona Cardinals later. I believe it's tomorrow, because I have a crazy prediction. But yeah, that's the team I could see them going to. I could see them going to in 5 years. I could see them going to a couple of different places, big markets, a lot of different things, if the Bengals don't get their act together. Or again, he could just retire. He's got the money, but again, they don't get their act together, then he's going to leave. And I won't blame him, not one bit.
Nope.
One more question before we head to the schedule. Amon, this question for you because you're a Michigan guy. Chris Jenkins Jr. definitely has to step up this year. Am I right? Am I correct?
1,000%. 1,000%, man. Because he was on that line. Maybe I think he was on that championship line that year we won in 2024. And that room already had Mason Graham, my boy Grant, they got drafted this year. So he definitely, has the makings to be an impact interior defensive lineman. He's got to make the most of his opportunities. And, what our boy Daryl said the other day about when we was talking about Lucas Van Ness, man, there's only so many opportunities you're going to get before they try to replace you. So he has to be – I'm not saying he has to be Geno Atkins in the inside, which they had long ago, but you got to be, an interior and produce more than what you've been doing the past couple seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and McKinley Jackson there as well. So
just because you have success in college, I mean, you're gonna have success in the league.
1,000%.
It is true.
Coaches have to unlock that thing in you. Every athlete has that thing in them that has to be unlocked. And if again Zach Taylor can't unlock that thing, he's gonna be looking for a job.
Let's go to the schedule. So week 1, this team is at Cleveland. Week 2, they are back at home. They are at home against Jacksonville. Week 3 at Minnesota. Is that one of those games that's overseas?
I believe so.
Larry. I think we talked about on the Vikings episode there. They were going back to back, and I think these are one of the. Was it Minnesota? Yeah, they're going back to back.
Okay, so I got it right. All right,
It may
so
be.
at
It may
Cleveland, at home against Jacksonville week 2, at Minnesota, they do go to Minnesota, at
be. Okay.
Denver on Monday night. That's gonna be crazy.
That's a win for the Bengals too, by the way.
You lucky my camera froze up right now. Then week 5, you are at home against Detroit, at Green Bay. Then you face Pittsburgh on a Thursday night.
Mm.
Then you're at home against the Jets, followed by the Bears. Hit the bye week. You come back, you're at Pittsburgh, at home against New England, at Baltimore on a Thursday night, at Buffalo, back at home against Baltimore, at Miami, and then you close the year out at home against Arizona and Cleveland. As we've been talking about in the NFC North and in like, man, Mom, we've been running through these teams and these schedules, tough schedules here, and this is another one. What you guys think?
Yeah, I'm looking at, since Rob said something about the Patriots. They ain't gonna give me no more. The Patriots,
especially with Henderson, they're running back too.
Yeah,
and they ain't got no bound defense as fast enough to stop him. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking at, you got Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Ravens back to back to back to back. And by the way, Gerard Mayo's not the coach in New England anymore. They got my boy Vrabel. Yeah, so you know what kind of ball club he's going to have. Imagine him being a better version of what they were last year at this time, with Mike Vrabel as your head coach, bringing that discipline, and Robert Kraft giving him the keys to the franchise because he's a former Patriot. I mean, not saying Gerard Mayo wasn't a former Patriot, but it's just politics again. But we're gonna leave it at that. Yeah, man, that's a tough four-game stretch. You know what I mean? And then you go Arizona, Cleveland to close out the season. Yeah, man, it can get spooky, man, for this daggone defense, because you look week 1, you got Cleveland in Cleveland. Yeah, I expect the Bengals to win that one, but stranger things have happened. Shoot, exactly. Like Rob said, they lost New England with week 1, week 2 last year, whatever week it was, and nobody expect that from Cincinnati losing to New England. Then you got Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Evan Ingham, he ain't there no more, but Liam Cohen coming from Tampa Bay, running where he ran with the magic he did with Baker Mayfield. He's going to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence, make the game a little easier for him. So that's going to be a toughie. Minnesota, we already know, we talked about Minnesota already with the D coordinator sending blitzes at you. He gonna pressure you if he could do one thing. I'm blanking on the name right now, but Larry, help me out with that. The Lions gonna be the Lions. They're gonna be gritty. They're gonna be right there. They're no pushover for sure. They got everybody coming back. My boy Hayden coming back from injury. So, and then you got Green Bay. And then you got Pittsburgh. Division matchup. That's always gonna be a tough one. Regardless, I don't care if it's Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. It's gonna be a tough game regardless. Then you got Justin Fields and the Jets. They may be a surprise. How well does Justin Fields start at the beginning of the year? And then you got the Bears with Ben Johnson, with Caleb. They may explode. Think about it. All these teams that we're naming, the Lions had a good offense last year. The Jaguars capable of having a good offense. The Packers, we talked, their last couple episodes, they was top 5 in passing or whatever the case may be, or offense in general. They're going to be good. Aaron Rodgers, if he tell him back the hands of time, he going to be, he might take it back to 2012 and go crazy. Lamar going to be Lamar. You got the MVP on the schedule. Yeah, man. Tua with Tyreek and Waddle. Yeah, I mean, it's in December, but they at home. It ain't like they're gonna be cold in Miami. So I don't know, man. This one's a little tricky to me. I'm not gonna say it's not. There's some winnable games on the schedule, but it's definitely not gonna be easy, in my humble opinion.
Rob.
Well, week 1 against the Browns, strange things have happened. Then you got the Jaguars. We don't know how they're going to look. Remember, a couple years ago, they were like, 8-1, 8-2?
Mm-hmm.
Never know.
It fell off.
the Minnesota Vikings, the quarterback, you don't know how they quarterback. I'm not a big believer. But hey, who knows? He may come out tossing the ball over the field. Who knows? Broncos are definitely losing that game. They're not beating the Broncos on Monday night. The Broncos are legitimate now. They're my pick to win that division.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Oh Lord, man! Oh Lord, bro.
The Detroit
You hear
Lions.
that?
The Detroit Lions. We have to see what they are without their coordinators. So we'll see. At Green Bay on a Sunday afternoon at 4:00, you're not winning that game. Sorry. Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday night. It's at home, and they'll probably beat them. The Jets are going to make the playoffs. The Jets are one of those surprise teams because here's the thing. Tyrod Taylor, in my opinion, I think he is still a valuable piece at quarterback. And remember, every time Tyrod Taylor is at quarterback, he bridges to a quarterback who does better in the future. So I think that the Jets are going to be one of those sneaky teams. That defense is still there. The Bears will be better. I'll give the Bengals that game. Bye week at Pittsburgh, they're not going to Pittsburgh and winning. Not that, no. Patriots, who knows what they're going to look like. At the Ravens are going to win because, quite frankly, they're afraid of the Ravens shadow. At Buffalo, they're not beating Buffalo. At Miami, now think about this, guys. They're sending them to Miami in December, a day before my birthday, on 12/21. It's going to be hot down in Miami. The Bengals playing the cold. How they going to work out?
Yeah, let me interrupt you for a second. At least they ain't playing in Miami in September, though.
But look, it don't matter if it's September or it don't matter if it's December. It's still going to be hot. And then you got to play a team in the Arizona Cardinals who that division in the NFC West is up for grabs. That's all I'm going to say. And then you end the season with the Browns. And who knows what the Browns are going to look like at the end of the season. Are they going to get more established with a quarterback? We don't know what they're going to look like. But we do notice they have Myles Garrett. So for me, I give the Bengals another 9-8 season. Because if you can't play defense, guys, you're susceptible to giving up big plays. And if you are 30, 31, 32 and running the football, how do I believe that you're going to do better when your line is a year older?
Yeah, that's fair.
There's still drama in the building. Zach Taylor's coaching for his life. And anybody who knows that any job where they're about to close down or somebody's fighting for their job, they get desperate. They start to become jackasses. And who knows how it's going to play in the locker room. Yeah. I like the Bengals, man. They got weapons, dog, and they're great to play in Madden, and they got the great uniforms, and they got the all white Mike Tyson's on. But man, they scare me, man. They scare me big time. From what I saw last year, the game they should have lost to some very, underperforming teams.
Let's go to more or less. Now, more or less is something like a over-under, something creative that I came up with. And Rob, since you're new to the show, we're going to ask you about 5 players from last year's team. Well, they're still on the team. And I'm going to list their stats, and you tell me if they're going to go over or more or less than last year. So starting with Joe Burrow, we got to start with the quarterbacks. 49-18 on the yards, 4,918, and 43 touchdowns. Does Joe Burrow pass for 5,000 yards or over this year?
He passes over. He's going to throw for 6,000 this year.
Woo!
And break the NFL record.
Quite frankly, because he ain't got no choice.
He has no other choice.
The way my man's saying it right there, he ain't got no choice because the defense ain't gonna keep the deep. You're gonna have to be in a shootouts with everybody. So,
okay. You say the same thing, Amon?
Yeah, man. I ain't gonna say 6,000. That's if he hit 6,000, boy. Then, whew. But I'm gonna say
he hit 6,000. He needed to win MVP regardless.
I don't care if he got 3 wins or 13 wins. He need to win MVP regardless. But yeah, I'm gonna say He had 4,009 something last year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he hit over. I'm gonna say he hit 5,000, probably 52.
That's 352 yards, 352.94 yards per game. He gonna have to have that.
Every yard.
Yep.
Does T. Higgins 73 catches, 911 yards, and 10 touchdowns? In terms of yards, 911. Does he go more or less?
Less because he'll get hurt again.
Amon?
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
I'm gonna say less because of I really do think Jamar is going to get bulk of the share. Mike Gesicki, I think he's going to have more impacts on some games. And I think Yoshi Voss is going to step up and probably be that wide receiver 3, if not Jermaine Burton, as Rob was hoping for early on in the show. So I'm gonna say less than whatever the number you said, just because there's a wild card. He can get hurt. He might miss 2 or 3 games, and boom, there it is. So, and that could be their out to get out of his contract after next year as well. Hey, well, man, hey T, man, we love to keep you around, man, but your health is so inconsistent, and we can spend them cap dollars anywhere else. So I say less.
Assuming that Trey Hendrickson is on this team, 17 and a half sacks.
Oh, load up the Drake. Go ahead, Rob. I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, more. He's on a third NFL record.
Ooh, I'm gonna say stay right even around 16, 17. Just because it's hard to that NFL record, man. It's tough to break. It can be broke. Like we said in a couple episodes ago, if Brett Favre didn't fall for Strahan, it might be old boy's record still, man. But it's hard, man. It's definitely possible. But I'm gonna say stay around 16, 17.
And you know where you know where he'll get most of those numbers from? The Browns games.
Who was closest to that record? Was it TJ Watt?
TJ threatened it. He had like 20 and like 20 in like early 2020, 2021. I think so. I think TJ threatened it, but I think he was short by like maybe 2 or 3 sacks. I think he got to like 19.
Logan Wilson, who look at him, he's a starting middle linebacker right now. He had 104 tackles last year. Does he go more or less than 100?
Actually, TJ Watt did tie Strahan in 2021 with 22 and a half.
Okay. I knew it was TJ, but I didn't know what year it was.
Yeah, I figured it was that. Logan Wilson, 104, more or less.
Got to be more. somebody got to play defense and tackle over there besides Trey Hendrickson. And like I said, you got the guy that they let go. He came to us, and that was 143 tackles that's out the building. And you're relying on Barrett Carter to step up and make 143 tackles in his rookie season? No. So I'm gonna say Logan Wilson has to be more.
Logan Wilson, 2020, 33 combined tackles. 2021, 100. 2022, 123. 2023, 135. And then 2024, 104. That means he's 31 down. That means that I'll give him more, but it's not going to be 135. I'll probably say 110.
Chase Brown. Finish it off with this one. 990 yards. Less. You say less to Amon?
Yeah, I'm gonna say even he stayed 800 max, 859. That's it.
All right, that concludes more or less. My players to watch this year, real quick, is T. Higgins, Chris Jenkins, and Joseph Asai. Joseph Asai going into a contract year. You know about T. Higgins and his situation. Let's see if he can eclipse of what he did last year, and then Chris Jenkins going into his second year. Let's see if he can make a big contribution up that middle of that defense. And then for my rookies to watch is Taj Brooks from Texas Tech and Demetrius Knight from South Carolina. Maybe he can be the next Bengals great linebacker there. Any final predictions for this team before we get up out of here?
I would say Joseph Asai, like you said, Rivers, Jalen Rivers, University of Miami, 6'5", 319. I think that eventually he's going to get in there and he's going to show what he's got. Ultimately, and then Cameron Britt has to become an All-Pro this year. He has to. We're gonna tell very early, especially the first two games when he goes against the Browns and he goes against Trevor Lawrence, who likes to throw picks. We're gonna see if Cameron Britt early is, and then he's going against the still. He's not a rookie anymore out of Minnesota, but their quarterback come back off injury last year. We're gonna see if he's improved his game because he's gonna have an opportunity to some interceptions.
Yeah, Larry. I know you put up your players to watch. But I'm not gonna specifically say a player to watch. I want to watch this Bengals organization. The front office.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The front office. I want to see, how short of a leash that Zach Taylor has if the Bengals start off rocky. Let's say they start off 2-4, 2-5, whatever the case may be. Is Mike Brown gonna pull the trigger? You know what I mean? Is he gonna say, "Hi, let's cut ties"? Hey, whoever the interim run the rest of the season. I want to see what they're gonna do with Joe Burrow. We want to get his guys paid. Hey, you want to get Jamar paid? You want to get T paid? All right. Now we got to pay. We got to play like that 2021 season again. What are they going to do with Trey Hendrickson? Are they going to get him signed before camp? Are they going to trade him? If they do have offers on the table, are they going to take the best offer and just say, "Hey guys, Shamar Stewart, Miles Murphy, we're going to let you guys go, and we'll have to bring another veteran."
Hey.
I want to see. And another thing, I'm curious to see is the Bengals playing a game of chicken with Trey Hendrickson. Are they waiting for TJ to sign first, or are they going to sign Trey Hendrickson first? Because I think they're really waiting for TJ to sign so that TJ got this. We're not going no higher than 35, 32. Yeah, you're not TJ Watt, but you're damn near close. So if TJ's getting 35, hey man, we can give you 32, 33. I think this is really going on. So the front office, I'm curious to see how the front office, works this year. And I want to see, Joe Burrow stay healthy for a full however many games, 16, 17 games.
Yeah. And I want to see how aggressive they are. If Christian McCaffrey's having a better year next year, but the 49ers are struggling, let's say Tony Pollard's having a good year, but the Tennessee Titans aren't having a great year. Do you pull the trigger? Do you bring in that next running back? Do you try to say, "Hey, let's go for it all"? Just like the 49ers did a couple years ago when they brought in Christian McCaffrey. Let's say they don't have the record. Let's say Christian is still playing decent football. Do you make that trade? You have to use this Trey Hendrickson thing. If you're going to do it, you have to use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
You have to use it to your advantage. And I'm gonna tell you, I'll tell you this now. If the rumor is true that the Packers want him, go get one of those young Packer receivers that they have on their roster. I guarantee you one thing: they come over there, they'll do some great things, and you'll really have a 3-4 headed monster, or something. You got to do something.
That'll actually be a great addition, whether it's Wicks or Dobbs or whoever. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I kind of in agreement with you guys. I don't see this defense stopping anybody. So, Rob, I mean, if that man can pass for 6,000 yards, I mean that's a hell of a prediction, and we'll definitely.
But again, Larry, that's 352 yards, 0.9. That's 352.94 yards per game. He's going to have to throw the ball at least 50 times a game, which is going to increase his opportunity to get his chance to get injured. So he's going to have to throw the ball that many times a game because, I mean, people know that they can key on that running game. Nobody's afraid of that running game.
All right.
You know, he threw for a career high 652 attempts last year, right?
Yeah, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of step back and throwing the ball.
I
But
believe that led the league, and he had 460 completions.
yeah, dang, that's crazy. But Larry, I'm gonna be honest with you. And Rob, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I'm just sitting here thinking off the top of my head about the past of the league. I just don't want Joe Burrow to end up having that Dan Marino career, if that makes sense. You get to the Super Bowl super early in your career, and then you never get back. But you probably one of the top 3 passes in the history of the game. You know what I mean? You come out highly touted, coming out of LSU 2019 with all the weapons, and then you get to the league and you just start slinging the ball all across the yard. Get to the Super Bowl, and Dan Marino went in 84, and he played up until 2000, and he never got back. I want that. I don't want that for Joe Burrow, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everybody say Dan Marino's cold, and he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But what's the knock?
But you know what's funny though? You know what the Dolphins got that the Bengals don't got? Championships.
Right. They don't have. Right, you're absolutely right. Bengals ain't don't have nothing.
They got nothing. They got nothing. And you know
something? They got appearances. That's it.
Well, I think he'll be smarter than Dan Marino. Trust me. Again, I'm gonna keep saying it. They better. You can see it. Joe Burrow does it because he wants the fans to love. He loves the fans of Cincinnati. The fans love him. But I guarantee
he's from up that way.
He got 4 more years, and all somebody got to do is offer him that big number, and he gone.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys seen the. I was talking to Larry this morning about it. I watched the quarterback series on Netflix, and yeah, man, he's like, I don't want to say he was like in a miserable state, man, but it was like, what are we doing? Like he's like, man, you take 2, 1 step forward, you get 3 steps back, and like last season, like everything that happened, they'll go on a 2-game winning streak, then they'll lose 3. You know what I'm saying? Then you get stupid penalties. They play the Chiefs and they lose over a stupid pass interference call that was questionable, and then like that derails their season. Then his home got robbed after they beat the Cowboys on Monday night, and it's like it was just so much of an up and down Jekyll and Hyde thing with the Bengals season last year. And like Rob saying, I can see him, maybe the 44 years are up, man, wanting to go, hey, man, I need to, change the scenery and, continue my career on somewhere else, man. I just thought, that documentary highlighted a whole lot of stuff that, we don't really see on a day-to-day basis as being fans of the game. And that could definitely play a factor in him wanting to get out.
Well, they better do something, because they better not let him walk for free. That's all I can say.
Oh no.
They better make sure they're gonna have to know in the next 3 years. Hey, do we trade this guy, or do we still wait this thing out? Because if he walks in free agency and you get nothing,
I think I know that Mike Brown ain't the smartest. I mean, I ain't expecting to tell him, but I know he ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer. But he would be astronomically stupid if he was to not get something back, if you were hitting down that road. You know what I mean? I don't know what the compensation would look like, because we've never seen a quarterback hit the market of that stature, I don't think. But whatever it is, man, it's going to have to be 5 first-round picks if he's still playing at the level that he's played a couple years ago. Well, last year with the 40 touchdowns and having many picks, but the team still losing.
Oh, no, excuse me. I got the stats wrong. He'll be 33. He'll be around 32, 33. He's 28 now. So he's not young. He's not young. He's young, but he's not young. So,
right.
Yeah. So
he still gets at 33. I mean, 32, when that contract's up, he's probably going to sign for maybe 4 or 5 more years if you want to continue to play that long.
If his body isn't broken, brother.
That's if his body is in shape to or in condition to play that long. He'll probably sign another 3 or 4 year deal, So they'll be 35, 36, 37 before he, that might be his last contract. But I hope we don't get that far to where we see Joe Burrow having to one out. But I definitely see a pathway, like Rob said, hey, okay, I've given Cincinnati 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. I gave y'all 8 years, 10 years of my career, and we haven't done anything. Let me go somewhere and see if I can try to win something.
Yeah, I'm totally in total agreement with both of you guys. Great stuff, man. Rob, you coming back with us tomorrow, right?
I should be. Yep.
Yeah, we discussing the Arizona Cardinals jumping into the NFC West. So everybody, thank you for continuing to watch. I see we got 3 eyes on us, so 3 likes, so everybody continue to support and keep watching as we bring this thing to you. Rob, we got a show coming this fall for football season. Once a week, still Sunday Night Hype. So
it's coming, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's coming, Mom. We got some things in the works as well too. So if you guys don't have anything else, Rob, you got anything else to close out?
Good luck, Cincinnati.
Mom, you good?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I just want to let's get over and get into this NFC West because it's getting closer. We're doing the West now, so I'm getting a little amped, getting a little hype. We're getting one day closer to. So.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
But good night, everybody. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to the channels. Rob Johnson's channel as well too. He's got some good stuff over there, man. Good night, everybody. Until then.